What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a blessed and beautiful day today. I have an article that I want to read for you today. It's off of lifesitenews.com. I don't know how reputable this site is, but I saw the article and I thought I would share it with you. It says 24 world leaders announce international pandemic treaty to implement Great Reset agenda. It says this was dated March 31st of this year. A host of global leaders issued a call for a global pandemic treaty. I don't know that word. Purportedly, in order to prevent future pandemics, distribute the jabs, and implement a unilateral approach to global governance. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and head of the WHO, as well as 20 other world leaders joined forces in penning a joint letter with an apparent intent of winning popular support for the globalist plan. Writing in UK paper The Telegraph, as well as other publications such as Le Monde in France, the leaders declared their intent to build a more robust international health architecture that will protect future generations. Calling this pandemic the biggest challenge to the global community since the 1940s, the 24 leaders predicated that there will be other pandemics and other major health emergencies. No single government or multilateral agency can address this threat alone, they declared. The question is not if, but when. Together we must be better prepared to predict, prevent, detect, assess, and effectively respond to pandemics in a highly coordinated fashion. The virus pandemic has been a stark and painful reminder that nobody is safe until everyone is safe. This final phase could indicate the influence which World Economic Forum founder and committed globalist Klaus Schwab enjoys over the 24 leaders. Just weeks ago, Schwab declared as long as not everybody is jabbed, nobody will be safe, a statement which in itself poses an interesting question about the trust which such leaders are placing in their much praised but dangerous experimental jabs. The leaders reaffirmed their joint aim of global jabs, describing it as a global public good. In order to achieve that public good and to ensure swift rollout of jabs across the globe, the 24 globalists initiated their new international treaty. We believe that nations should work together towards a new international treaty for pandemic preparedness and response. Such a renewed collective commitment would be a milestone in stepping up pandemic preparedness in the highest political level. This treaty would be based on the principles of the WHO, drawing from the WHO's constitution, as well as calling on other relevant organizations key to this endeavor. The WHO's Director General, Dr. Adhanom, was one of the signatories of the statement. The main goal of this treaty would be to foster an all-of-government and all-of-society approach, strengthening national, regional, and global capacities and reliance to future pandemics. This includes greatly enhancing international cooperation to improve, for example, alert systems, data sharing, research and local, regional, and global production and distribution of medical and public health countermeasures such as jabs, medicines, diagnostics, and personal protective equipment. Nor would it be centered purely on globalist jabs agendas. Due to the leaders' on One Health approach, it would build on the principle of connection between the health of humans, animals, and our planet. In language reminiscent of the Great Reset agenda promoted by the WEF and Klaus Schwab, the leaders mentioned that the new treaty would lead to a lack of national interest and increased international concerns. Such a treaty should lead to more mutual accountability and shared responsibility, transparency, and cooperation, within the international system and its rules and norms. No section of society would be exempt from being involved in the new treaty. Let me read that again. That just caught my attention. No section of society would be exempt from becoming involved in the new treaty, whatever it may turn out to look like, with the world leaders pointing out that we will work with heads of state and government globally and all stakeholders, including civil society and private sector, declaring that the virus, which originated in China, had exploited our weakness and divisions. The leaders pronounced it in their pandemic. I'm sorry, I skipped a line. The leaders pronounced it to their responsibility to ensure that the world learns the lesson of the virus pandemic and to seize the opportunity and come together as a global community for peaceful cooperation that extends beyond this crisis. This proposal is due to be further discussed among national leaders in June G7 summit in Cornwall, UK, where Boris Johnson will join his counterparts from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the US and the EU. Meanwhile, the 24 signatories warned that their new plan will take time and require a sustained political, financial, and societal commitment over many years. I don't think it's going to take that long. They've been doing this for years, so they're just ready to roll this out. So that was the main one that I wanted to share with you. Then I have another one. I'm not going to read really through it, other than there was a church, Grace Life Church. The government boarded it up and put gates around it. There's fencing that has been erected around the church site, where the pastor has been hosting services for months that, according to the government, have breached the virus public health orders. I guess the pastor was, so it says here, the Wednesday morning move to shutter the church on western edge of Edmonton follows several packed Easter weekend services in violation of a closure order issued in January for previously flouting the virus restrictions. Fencing was erected around the entire perimeter of the church after a convoy of about a dozen vehicles first arrived at 6 a.m. Wednesday morning. Police are there to assist Alberta Health Services, so this must be in Canada. Let's see here. Just before 9, the government issued a statement announcing it has physically closed Grace Life Church and has prevented access to the building until they are able to comply with the chief medical officer of the health restrictions. Okay, yeah, this is in Canada, but, and, Canada is growing worse by the day too, but it's going to start happening here, where they're starting to bully pastors and, just trying to keep them from opening their doors, and if they do open their doors, use it for government assistance type of stuff, by giving jobs away, The United States Army working on a plan to require all service personnel to use biometric facial recognition at drive-through checkpoints. So when you drive up to the base, they have a gate, and you can't enter the gate unless you have a card, a military card that shows your military service, or if you're a spouse or a child or a dependent. It'll say that on there, and it has your picture on it. It has, I think it has your sponsor, which would be the person that's in the military, or you yourself that's in the military. So the Army is wanting to use facial recognition instead of those cards, I believe. So that's interesting. We've got, here's this one. This is, if it wasn't so sad, it would be actually kind of funny, but this is actually the direction that it's headed, and it's so just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Oregon Department of Education promoting course claiming that math is racist and it's white supremacy because it requires a correct answer. So what they're saying is that 1 plus 1 may not actually equal 2, it may actually equal 5. And who's to say that 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 5? And if you say that it equals 5, then it's racist and it's white supremacist. How is that? Who knows? And I just see it as our future children that are getting all of these wrong answers, because who's to say that this isn't correct? And then you're going to get these kids that grow up that want to be doctors, that are going to go to medical school. They don't know math, because who's to say that answer is wrong? They're going to go to medical school and they're going to get into a fight with their teacher because their teacher says that the body has so many organs. But how can you say that the body has so many organs? How do you know? What if you're wrong? And, you have medical school, you have, this one's a male and this one's a female. Well, you can't say that because that's racist or whatever, And so you have kids that are going to be doctors that don't know anything. And I may as well become a doctor, or you may as well become a doctor, because apparently everything that we learned in school is racist and it's wrong. And all of our answers are wrong. It's getting so ridiculous, guys. It is so bad. Oh my goodness. And then I quickly wanted to talk a little bit about the stuff that's going on in Israel with that whole thing. And it is still continuing, and it is, and I want to say that it is not interesting, because it is quite interesting. And there's more coming out about this guy. And, I'll just say that it is very interesting, but at the same time, as a believer, we're looking for Jesus. We're not looking for the Antichrist. And we know that the church has to be gone before he's revealed. However, I've seen people saying, well, I didn't get a feeling off of him, or I didn't. And I was kind of thinking about that today, where, who's to say that, okay, we didn't get a feeling off of the guy, but who's to say if that's not part of the great deception? Because, there's going to be many people that don't get that feeling from the guy, right? They're not going to get that goosebump kind of feeling like, ooh, this is the guy. He's going to be somebody that everybody's going to love. And, this guy in Israel, apparently, and I say apparently because I have not found any information on it. I just see what other people are posting. But apparently he knows all the answers he knows the Torah backwards and forwards and with 100% accuracy. And he knows the answer to any question that you can ask him. He's a extreme genius scholar. He is part Jewish from the lineage of David. He's got the bloodline of King David. He's also part Muslim. I think it was his mom is Muslim. So he's got that side as well, kind of joining the two together. And I forget I think that was it. Like he's got the bloodline of David and all this stuff about the Torah. And you ask him any question, he knows the answer to. He was talking about peace or something. He wants to bring peace to the Middle East. He wants the third temple. And so what I did was I downloaded a translator app on my iPad. And I tried to play the video and have it translate from Hebrew to English so I could see what they were saying. And it was just jumbling it up. It was getting it all wrong. It was saying weird stuff. So I have not found that yet. And I tried to find one that translates it not only just into Hebrew, but into Arabic. I've tried into Israeli, and it wouldn't pop up. So I don't know. I don't know the whole situation. I don't know, if this is just a scam or whatever. The one thing I did notice is that people were saying that they crowned him as their Messiah, and in a private ceremony, and that he wouldn't be crowned publicly for the world to see. And if that's the case, and he is the guy, then that would mean that we have to be out of here before the world sees him. Because really, if you think about it, only in our bubble of YouTube, we're the only ones that know about it, right? If you ask anybody on the street, they're not going to know about it unless they live in the YouTube bubble. So it's not like it's great big news. It hasn't reached the world yet that this has happened. It hasn't come out that there's this, stuff that's going on over there. So obviously it hasn't been released to the world. So there, if he is the guy, then we have to be out of here before he's released to the world, before the world starts talking about it, and before, and I think with, YouTube, starting to spread it around, I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen, because I've been kind of keeping my eyes on the Temple Institute. On the Facebook, they've been talking a lot about the temple lately, a lot about the Jordanians and the Saudi Arabia they're kind of bickering over the plot of land, and Saudi Arabia is trying to gain foothold, and it's really interesting to kind of watch that take place. And I recommend that if you don't, that you would watch the Temple Institute, not watch it, excuse me. If you have a Facebook page, follow them and subscribe to them, not to listen to the Torah readings, because they do Torah readings and stuff. I don't listen to any of that stuff. I just watch what's going on over there. They post stuff about the rabbis and all of that type of stuff. If you want to know all that stuff, you can subscribe to them on Facebook. They even have a YouTube channel where they talk about this type of stuff, but they do Torah readings. I don't listen to that, but anyways, I wanted to come on and share just that brief thing with the the countries getting together to try to, make an agreement. It's not the peace agreement, but it's kind of falling in line with everything. It kind of goes in line. It's taking its steps, and it's going to all fall in pieces in together. It's like a puzzle piece, and, it's just all coming together. And, this stuff that's going on with Russia and the Ukraine, this is something that it's like putting kerosene on a fire. And I think it's just going to grow to the point where we're going to see Ezekiel war break out, World War III, and it's happening. And now Israel's kind of, they're bombing, I don't want to say bombing, but they kind of did the ship, an Iranian ship, which is only going to, infuriate the Iranians, and everybody's fighting with each other. Okay. And I don't know. I mean, we just have to keep our eyes on Israel. I always say, keep our eyes on Israel. Don't keep your eyes on America. Don't keep your eyes on China. Israel is where it's at. Israel is God's timepiece. Israel is where everything is taking place. Yes, the things of the world line up, but they all line up with the central point of Israel. So anyways, guys, before this is extremely long, I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope that you had a wonderful Easter. I hope that you are blessed. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will leave that there, and I will talk to you later. Bye.